it is also a guardian to past glories. In a quiet corner of the chapel can be found the tomb of the Lords of Care, the de Burgos, their last resting place here in the town they built. Full many a year has it echoed along, the clear winding river majestic and strong, outliving Ireton and Clonmel as well, is the beautiful chime of the old friary bell. The churches of Clonmel are packed with magnificent decoration and with story. Saints Peter and Paul, which towers over Gladstone Street, is a wonder of colour and devotion. Its walls and galleries a veritable pantheon of saints. Frank Patterson, the world-famous tenor, spent his childhood years here in the parish of St. Peter and Paul. The location of this magnificent building is almost ironic. For just across the road in 1766, Father Nicholas Sheehy, a champion of his people, was hanged, drawn and quartered for his outspokenness. Peter and Paul stands like a monument to his faith. Nearby is the old courthouse building, which housed the trial in 1848 of the famous Young Ireland rebels, William Smith O'Brien, Thomas Marr, and others. They were condemned to death in this building, but the sentence was commuted and they were transported to Tasmania. At the junction of O'Connell Street and Gladstone Street is another remarkable building, the Main Guard. The original was erected in 1674 and was rebuilt in its present form about 1810. Originally intended as a courthouse, it became a market centre of the town. Tommy O'Brien, well-known broadcaster and music critic, once lived on O'Connell Street in the shadow of the West Gate, the last remaining gate to the old town. In the days of the Norman lords, and for many centuries afterwards, the Irish were forced to leave by this gate and return to their homes outside the walls. It's no surprise then to discover that that part of Clonmel beyond the West Gate is known as Irishtown. Pride of place in Irishtown is the exquisite church of St. Mary's. Its ornate ceiling is the finest example of its kind in Europe, and its high altar is a breathtaking example of devotional design. Unlike many other parts of Ireland, Clonmel has always responded well to the challenge of changing times. This is due in no small part to the strong influence of the Quakers who settled in the Meadow of Honey in the 18th century. Hard-working and enterprising, they were in many ways the forerunners of Clonmel's remarkable commercial and industrial tradition. They were the ones who built the first mills, which can still be seen by the banks of the river. And they too were responsible for some of the finest architecture in the town. Through their industry, they amassed considerable fortunes for themselves, and their wealth facilitated the construction of many fine buildings. This distinctive slated building was built by one John Christian. The Georgian splendor of Ann Street was the brainchild of Charles Ryle, who named the street after his wife. During construction in 1820, it was described as a street of very eligible houses. The ever-increasing wealth of the people of Clonmel led to the construction of such magnificent mansions as Malfield House and the old Quaker mansion, which is now the Hotel Manila. Clonmel has attracted many people down through the years, for here people have made their fortunes, surrounded by a beautiful and peaceful countryside. Of all the people who have absorbed the enterprising personality of Clonmel and thrived amidst its enticing landscape, none is more famous than Charles Bianconi. He was born Joachim Carlum Giuseppe Bianconi in Tregolo, now called Costamasnaga near Lake Como, northern Italy. It is said that due to a slight romantic scandal, his family apprenticed him to an art dealer named Faroni. Faroni brought his apprentices to Ireland, and Bianconi set up his own business as a carver, gilder, and seller of prints. His travels brought him to Clonmel in 1809, where he set up shop to sell gilded mirrors and framed prints. His business prospered, but Bianconi never forgot the many miles he had trudged from Dublin to Clonmel, and slowly a business plan began to form itself in his mind. In 1815, he took advantage of the fall in the price of horses and, on the 6th of July, 1815,